Your feet absorb more at night than you think. Swollen feet and midnight cramps steal sleep from millions of women every night. Yet most people ignore the simple fix sitting in their kitchen. The trick is picking the right oil and rubbing it on before 8 p.m. so it has time to work. I'm ranking 5-foot oils from the cheapest kitchen remedy to the one specialist nurses use for the worst cases. By the end, you'll know exactly which oil matches your problem and how to use it without wasting money. Your body starts winding down long before your head hits the pillow. Blood flow shifts toward repair in the early evening, and your skin becomes more receptive to anything you put on it. That's why the window before 8 p.m. matters. If you rub oil on your feet at 9 or 10, you're already in deep sleep when cramps strike between midnight and 4 a.m. Giving yourself that head start means the active compounds are already working by the time your muscles need them. There's another practical reason, because oils are slippery. If you apply them right before bed, you'll stain your sheets and maybe slide off the mattress. Do it after dinner while you're still upright. It takes 5 minutes, and it becomes a bedtime cue your brain starts craving. So with the clock in mind, let's start with the simplest oil you already have in your kitchen. Oil number 1. Olive oil and salt. The kitchen remedy. You don't need to buy anything for the first one. Look in your kitchen. Extra virgin olive oil and a spoonful of coarse sea salt, or Epsom salt, are all you need. The salt granules scrape away dead, calloused skin that blocks absorption and leaves your feet looking gray and puffy. Once that layer is gone, the oil sinks in and softens the skin. Warm a tablespoon of olive oil in your palms, mix in a teaspoon of salt, and scrub your feet for 2 minutes, especially around the ankles and heels where fluid pools. Then rinse and pat dry. If you have Epsom salt instead of table salt, you get a small bonus. Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate, a standard foot soak remedy for swollen feet. Podiatrists include warm oil and salt foot baths in home care recommendations for tired, swollen feet. And Ironwood Cancer and Research Centers also list Epsom salt soaks as a common comfort measure. This isn't a miracle cure, and it won't drain severe edema overnight. Instead, it's a cheap way to prep your skin so the stronger oils next can actually penetrate instead of sitting on top of dead skin. Do it while watching television. It takes less time than a commercial break, and your feet will feel lighter. But softening dead skin is just the first layer. Next, we need to wake up your circulation with rosemary oil, because even the smoothest feet won't stop a cramp if the blood isn't moving. Oil number 2. Rosemary, the circulation booster. Rosemary oil is the circulation booster on this list, and it does more than flavor a roast. In one case study, a woman with Raynaud's disease used a rosemary oil blend, and thermal imaging showed her fingers grew warmer than with a neutral oil. Rosemary dilates small blood vessels and pushes stagnant fluid out of the lower legs, which is exactly what swollen ankles need. Researchers also note its anti-inflammatory properties. Mix 3 or 4 drops with a teaspoon of any carrier oil. Massage upward from your toes toward your knees for 3 minutes. You'll feel the heat build slowly, like a warm towel around your calves. Get this on before 8 p.m., so the warming effect peaks before sleep. Never use rosemary oil undiluted, because it can irritate. And if you're pregnant or have epilepsy, talk to your clinician first, because rosemary can trigger complications. If your skin turns red, wash it off and skip this one. The tingling warmth is blood finally moving through areas that have been stale all day. But moving fluid is only half the battle. If a muscle seizes at 2 a.m., you need something that stops the spasm itself. And that's where lavender comes in. Oil number 3. Lavender, the cramp calmer. Lavender oil stops the cramp. Healthline lists lavender among the top essential oils for sore muscles. And folk practice sources note that rubbing it on the ankles may help sidestep foot cramps. The scent is doing more than making the room smell good. It signals your nervous system to slow down, lowering the nerve firing that makes muscles seize. When your nerves stop shouting, the muscle can finally relax instead of locking into a painful knot. Mix 3 drops into a teaspoon of your chosen carrier oil. Rub it into your calves, ankles, and the tops of your feet. Use slow, firm circles. Don't rush, and breathe in the scent while you massage. The relaxation starts in your brain and travels down to the muscle, so you feel the calm spread before you finish. Apply this before 8 p.m., so your nervous system has time to settle before deep sleep begins. If you combine it with the rosemary oil from the last step, you get both circulation and calm in one routine. If you don't have essential oil, a bar of lavender soap under the bottom sheet has helped some people prevent cramps, though the oil on the skin is stronger. Either way, the key is letting lavender reach your nose and skin at the same time, because that double pathway quiets spasms fastest. That's the trick. Oil number 4. Castor oil, the deep tissue penetrator. Lavender handles the spasm, but if your feet stay swollen day after day, you need something that penetrates deeper than scent. Castor oil is our thickest option on this list. It's thick and not glamorous, but it's exactly what chronic swelling needs when lighter oils do nothing. The main active component is ricinoleic acid, and observational studies show that topical application exerts anti-inflammatory and analgesic effects. That means it calms irritated tissue while you sleep, reducing puffiness after hours on your feet. Unlike thin lotions that vanish in 20 minutes, castor oil stays put. That's why it lasts. Because castor oil is so dense, it doesn't evaporate. It sits on the skin for hours, driving moisture deep into the thick skin of the heels and arches where swelling hides. Warm a small puddle in your palms and massage it into any visibly swollen areas before 8 p.m. Then, put on clean cotton socks and leave it on until morning. Don't skip the socks. Castor oil stains fabric and is slippery enough to turn your hallway into an ice rink. A cheap pair of cotton socks is the difference between a successful treatment and a ruined bedsheet. It's the old-school remedy your grandmother probably used, surviving even when modern creams fail. The thick, simple stuff often wins when the fancy bottles give up. Oil number 5. Magnesium oil, the master oil. Castor oil works on the surface, but it's still mostly about comfort and moisture. If you want the one option that targets the actual mineral deficiency behind many cramps, you need the final oil on the list. Magnesium oil isn't technically an oil. It's magnesium chloride dissolved in water, and it feels slippery, which is why people call it an oil. Magnesium is the mineral most directly linked to muscle relaxation, and many people with frequent leg cramps are low in it. Oral magnesium pills work, but they can cause stomach upset, which is why a lot of people quit before their levels rise. Topical magnesium bypasses the gut, and your feet are one of the better places to apply it because the skin there has many hair follicles that may help uptake. And that matters. A 2024 pilot study followed 6 patients with high-output ileostomies who couldn't absorb magnesium through their intestines. They used a topical magnesium chloride spray twice daily for 6 weeks. By week 3, all 6 reported cramps improved or resolved. That's a tiny group, but it's the most direct evidence for topical magnesium and cramps. Spray or rub it onto your feet and calves around 7:30. Let it absorb for 20 minutes. Don't wipe it off early. If it tingles or itches, dilute it with a little water next time. Wear cotton socks if the residue bothers you. If you have kidney disease, avoid it unless your clinician says otherwise. The tingling usually fades after a week, and plenty of people find the trade-off worth it when they sleep through the night without a cramp. Use it last. This is the master oil because it goes after the root cause the other 4 oils only support. And that's why it sits at number 5. If your feet are only mildly puffy, start with the olive oil salt scrub. If cramps are your main enemy, skip ahead to magnesium oil. Pick one tonight and try it before 8 p.m. Let me know which oil you're trying first in the comments. And if you're into natural remedies that actually work, stick around, because we're always bringing you more of them.